Well, I am back. So much for getting out in the weather, huh? So I signed off here and I saw that there is some stuff going on with Fotis, and I have Fotis Dulos arrest affidavit that I would like to read. So I'm going to give a few minutes or give a minute or two just for people to join, and then I will be right back. Okay, sorry. I was just letting some people join before I got started here. I wish I could change this screen. I wish I could change. Hold on. I'm going to make it so you guys can read it, man. If it's the last thing I do. It's the only thing about this whatchamacallit here, the StreamYard is it's really hard sharing photos and things. I can't zoom in anymore. It's weird. All right, I guess it's going to have to be like this then. Just zoom in on the text, I guess. That's how we're going to have to do it, folks. But we will get through this and we will read this. Okay? All right, so let's give a little bit of background on the Dulos case. Fotis and Jennifer Dulos were a married couple in Connecticut. They were going through a nasty, nasty divorce with children involved. Fotis was having an affair in the marriage. Jennifer was trying to keep those kids from him, not for any crazy reason. This man was volatile, abusive, you name it. And he was actually, the children were protected from being around him. This is the arrest affidavit from, yes, this is from March or May. I mean, this is the arrest, but see, it's dated 1/6/2020. See that? So this is a little bit different, maybe. They never found Jennifer, but they did find a lot of evidence. So they do have evidence. Thank you, Billy Sanderson Kearns, for becoming a sponsor. Okay, so we have, this is all dated from May 24th, 2019. Okay. But we have this here, which is 1/6. This is why I wanted to take a look at this, because it says 1/6/2020. So I don't know if, this has been changed. See, it has. It has. That's why we're here. That's why we're reading this. Bail has been set at $6 million. And non-financial conditions of release to be posted only after arraignment. So, yes, he was arrested back in May, but he was not charged with murder back in May. That's the difference. Okay, that's what's new. And this document is ticking me off. So now he's been charged with felony murder. Okay. Murder. Okay, wait. Hold on. Let me back up. Sorry, I have not looked at this. State of Connecticut Superior Court. Dulos, Fotis. Residence is Farmington, and his address is 4 Jefferson Crossing in Farmington, Connecticut, 06032. To be held at Stamford. Count 1, murder. At New Canaan on or about 5/24/2019. Count 2, felony murder at New Canaan, 5/24/2019. Count 3, kidnapping in the first degree, New Canaan, 5/24/2019. Then it's dated 1/6/2020. Then down here, we have his name again, Fotis Dulos. And this is the bail, $6 million. He's the $6 million man. That's what we should call his ass from this point forward. Non-financial is to be posted only after arraignment. And then it is signed down below 1/6, and it is signed by the judge, John F. Blowy, I think it says. Return on arrest warrant is Stamford, date 1/7/2020. Detective John Kimball, badge number 877, Connecticut State Police, Western District Major. Now we go down. This is the application for arrest warrant, signed 1/6/2020. Signed off by the judge on 1/6/2020. Now, let's read through the facts. God, this thing is really going to take me. Oh my gosh. Okay. I need a mouse pad really bad. Okay. Number 1, affiant. That your affiant, Detective John Kimball, is a member of the Connecticut State Police with 26 years of law enforcement experience. Your affiant has been assigned to a detective with the Western District Major Crime Squad, Troop G office for more than 10 years and has at all pertinent times mentioned herein been acting in his official capacity as a member of said department. The following facts and circumstances are stated from personal knowledge, observation, and investigation, as well as from information received from brother and sister officers acting in their official capacity. Presentation. Due to the complex, interwoven, nonlinear nature of the facts and circumstances in this case, this affidavit includes paragraph headings in bold text, and some facts include source citations in brackets. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, number 3, initial missing person report. That on Friday, May 24th, 2019 at 6:59 p.m., the New Canaan Police Department, which we will call the NCPD from here on out, received the initial report of a missing person identified as Jennifer Farber Dulos of 69 Wells Lane, New Canaan, Connecticut, referred to in this affidavit as Jennifer or as victim. NCPD officers responded to the 69 Wells Lane residence, where they located suspected blood evidence on a Range Rover parked in the center garage bay. Jennifer was not located inside the residence. NCPD Investigation Division Officer Thomas Patton responded to the scene and located additional evidence indicative of a crime scene. NCPD contacted the Connecticut State Police for assistance, and detectives from the WDMCS Troop G office and the crime van responded to the scene. Initial missing person case. The New Canaan Police Department initiated a missing person investigation which determined the following. The residence at 69 Wells Lane included a 3-bay garage, the center bay of which contained a 2014 Range Rover, New York plate, EMM 8328. The left, north, and right south bays were empty. While searching and processing the garage, members of the WDMCS crime van identified multiple areas within the garage which presumptively tested positive for blood. Investigators observed spatter stains on the driver's side of the Range Rover and on the garage floor north left of the Range Rover. Spatter stains are blood stains resulting from airborne blood drops. I'm going to make this bigger. Created when an external force is applied to liquid blood. Detectives also noted indications that the scene had been altered by an attempt to clean it. Detectives determined a 2017 Chevrolet Suburban, Connecticut plate AJ69099, registered to Jennifer Dulos, was missing from the residential garage. This vehicle was found by NCPD abandoned at approximately 7 p.m. on Lapham Road, adjacent to the southwest portion of Mawhinney Park in New Canaan. The vehicle was unoccupied, its running lights were on, and its transmission was left in reverse. Jennifer was not found inside the vehicle or in the surrounding area. Investigators found stained spatter on the passenger side of the vehicle. Forensic results from crime scene evidence. Evidence recovered from the crime scene was submitted to the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection Division of Scientific Forensic Laboratory for analysis. The table below lists a portion of the results gleaned from evidence submitted. So down here it states there was a blood-like stain on the Land Rover hood, another one on the bumper, the rear fender, the kitchen faucet. So the Land Rover was all the DNA match to Jennifer. The kitchen faucet was a mixture of Jennifer and Fotis. The blood-like stain sink cabinet door was positive for blood of Jennifer Dulos. Swabbing inside the knob plate mudroom door was matched to Fotis Dulos DNA. Blood-like stain garage door was DNA matched to Jennifer, and another one on the east garage wall was Jennifer. So we have her blood in the Land Rover. We have her blood on the sink faucet, which obviously he was washing himself, his hands or whatever. We also have blood in the garage, on the wall, and on the garage door. Fotis, Dulos, and Associates, detectives have identified the following persons as central to this investigation. Fotis Dulos was estranged husband of Jennifer Dulos. He owned and operated a construction company named the Four Group, Inc., out of an office at his residence. Dulos and the victim were married in 2006, and together they have 5 children. Michelle Tricanis. Michelle Tricanis was the girlfriend of Dulos, who resided with him on Jefferson Crossing. Paywell Kamini. Paywell Kamini was a full-time employee of Four Group, and he worked closely with Dulos. He worked closely with Dulos daily as a project manager for Four Group. Kamini regularly operated a Toyota Tacoma. Kent Mawhinney is a practicing attorney and personal friend of Dulos. And Andrea Tussardius, these names, wow, is a childhood friend of Dulos who lives in Greece. Vehicles. Detectives check the collect system to locate vehicles registered to the Ford Group, the company owned and operated by Fotis Dulos, and for other vehicles associated with his employees. The results of these searches are as follows. A 2015 Chevrolet Suburban, registered to the Ford Group and regularly operated by Dulos. A 2014 Jeep Cherokee, which was registered to the Ford Group and regularly operated by Dulos, Draconis, and Kamini. 2014 F-150 SVT Raptor, high performance pickup truck, black in color, registered to the Ford Group and commonly operated by Dulos. A 2001 Toyota Tacoma, a red Toyota Tacoma pickup truck registered to Kamini's wife, Barbara Kamini. According to Kamini, his wife normally drove her own vehicle and he used the Toyota Tacoma for transportation to and from the Farmington area in connection to his employment by Fotis Dulos Company. During Kamini's work week, he indicated he was usually provided a Ford Group vehicle to operate. So here is the initial contact with Fotis. On 5/25/19 at approximately 2:47 p.m., Dulos entered the lobby of the New Canaan Police Department and was met by Officer Patton and CSP Detective Christopher Allegro nearly 3 hours after his initial expected arrival. When asked about his attorney, Dulos indicated the lawyer, Jacob Pietranker, was outside talking on the phone. Dulos asked investigators if there were any news on his wife's disappearance and was told detectives were seeking his help in finding her. Officer Patton told Dulos that he would be entering a secure area of the facility and asked if he had any weapons or contraband. As Dulos began pulling items from his clothing pockets, almost immediately, he began patting down his own pockets and muttering, "Where is my phone?" At approximately this time, Pietranker entered the lobby and announced to police that Dulos would be providing no interview and that he and Dulos would be leaving. Detectives were surprised to hear that Dulos was not going to help in the search for Jennifer, and they began to look for clarification from Dulos and Pietranker. As this discussion was taking place, Pietranker handed Dulos the cell phone he was carrying. Detective Allegro spoke up to ask Dulos, "Is that your phone?" And Dulos responded affirmatively. Detective Allegro asked to see the phone, and Dulos handed over the phone with no apparent hesitation. Observing his phone was locked, and with a 4-digit passcode, Detective Allegro asked for the unlock code. Dulos provided the code as 0000, and Detective Allegro unlocked the phone. As he placed the phone into airplane mode, a setting which removes the cell phone from the network, thus preventing the data on the phone from being remotely erased, Pietranker asked Detective Allegro what he was doing. Detective Allegro responded that he was securing the cellular phone and the data it contains because of his belief that the phone contained evidence related to the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos. He further indicated that a search and seizure warrant would be sought to authorize a search of the cell phone for such evidence. Dulos responded by saying nothing. NCPD surveillance video documented the transaction and showed Dulos appearing agitated and confused. Pietranker asserted that police had no grounds to seize the cell phone because they had no warrant. Detectives acknowledged that a SSW would be sought and that the cell phone would not be searched until a lawful SSW had been issued. Their actions were restricted to the securing of the cell phone and the prevention of potential destruction of evidence contained within the phone. Pietranker responded by saying he needed a moment with his client, and both men walked out of the NCPD lobby. Search warrant for Dulos' primary cell phone, 860-478-8625. On 5/25/19, the same day Dulos' cell phone was seized at approximately 2:47 p.m., detectives presented an affidavit in Stamford Superior Court outlining facts known as of 2:47 p.m. that date. Upon review, the court issued a search and seizure warrant at 8:50 p.m. for Dulos' handset seized from earlier that date. As investigation progressed, a second cellular handset with a separate cellular number was seized from Dulos. For clarity, the last four digits of Dulos cell phones are referenced in this case 8625. Initial Hartford information on 5/26/19, a forensic examination of Dulos 8625 cell phone provided information that Dulos's handset was in the area of Albany Avenue in Hartford during the 7 o'clock hour of 5/24/19. Albany Avenue video canvas. Starting on 5/27/19, WDMCS detectives began to canvass the area of Fairmont Street, Green Street, and Albany Avenue in the city of Hartford, which resulted in the development of footage showing a large, dark-colored pickup truck consistent with the 2014 Ford Raptor, registered to Ford Group, traveling in the area on 5/24/19 at approximately 7:40 p.m. Hartford C4 surveillance video. On 5/30/19, WDMCS detectives contacted the Hartford Police Department, Special Operations Group, Capital City Command Center, and requested their assistance in determining Dulos's activities in the area of Albany Avenue. C4 located a male wearing a light-colored shirt, dark pants, and ball cap. This individual was subsequently identified as Dulos. He was observed operating a large black-colored pickup truck, which was later identified as the 2014 Ford F-150 SVT Raptor, registered to the Ford Group, Inc. A female passenger in the Ford Raptor was shown on surveillance and subsequently identified as Dulos' girlfriend, Michelle Triconis. C4 mapped out Dulos' movements as he deposited multiple black-colored plastic bags, garbage bags, into several trash receptacles during the evening of 5/24/19. The mapping included the following points. 7:31 p.m., they entered the area of Albany Avenue, covered by Hartford police surveillance cameras from the west. 7:32, a Ford Raptor is shown traveling eastbound along Albany Avenue. 7:32, a Ford Raptor turns right from Albany Avenue onto southbound Milford Street. As the vehicle passes through the camera's field of view, several plastic bags can be seen in the rear bed of the pickup. At this point, the truck travels through a portion of city streets not covered by surveillance cameras for approximately 7 minutes. 7:39 p.m. A Ford Raptor reemerges onto Albany Avenue and turns right to travel eastbound again. At approximately 7:39 p.m., the vehicle stops at Albany Avenue and Garden Street, and the male gets out of the driver's seat, grabs a black plastic bag, and places it into a trash receptacle on the sidewalk. The camera angle shows the rear bed of the truck is now largely empty of bags. 7:40, a Ford Raptor continues eastbound on Albany Avenue until it reaches Center Street, where the driver conducts a U-turn to travel westbound again along Albany Avenue. As the truck passes the camera, the rear bed of the truck is seen to only hold one plastic bag. They have followed this. They have camera on this guy the entire time that he's dumping his wife's body. This is insane. 7:41, a Ford Raptor is shown from behind traveling westbound on Albany Avenue and stopping at Green Street. The male emerges from the driver's seat, retrieves the last garbage bag while standing to the rear of the truck and discards the bag into the trash can. 7:50 p.m. A Ford Raptor travels westbound towards Albany Avenue until it passes out of the area of surveillance coverage at approximately 7:50. Additional C4 video showed Dulos remove what appeared to be a large, rigid object from the rear of the Ford Raptor and lean it up against a building. The object was consistent with the appearance of a WeatherTech brand rear cargo liner determined to be missing from Jennifer's 2017 Chevrolet Suburban. C4 video also showed an unidentified person removing what appeared to be a light-colored piece of material containing a large blood-like stain. This item appeared to be consistent with one of two small camping pillows, which Jennifer's nanny, Lauren Almeida, reported were missing from the garage storage shelves at the 69 Wells Lane crime scene. Investigators subsequently identified and interviewed the homeless male, who told investigators he had seen what he described as a bloody pillow, but he had not taken the item. Recovery of evidence from Albany Avenue. Detectives checked trash receptacles shown on surveillance and recovered garbage bags consistent with the black garbage bags shown on C4 video with what appeared to be cut clothing and undergarments with a blood-like substance, plastic zip ties containing BLS, which is blood-like substances, other items and household goods, including a kitchen sponge with blood-like stains and other household trash items. Numerous items were recovered from trash receptacles corresponding to dump locations shown on C4 video were submitted to the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection, Division of Forensic Science Laboratory located at 278 Colony Street in Meriden, Connecticut. So here is a list of the evidence. I'll run down it real quick. Blood-like stain from paper towel, sponge, mop handle. That all matched Jennifer Dulos. Black garden glove matched Fotis Dulos. Black husky gloves matched Jennifer Dulos. The outside of them did. Not the inside of the glove, but the outside. Vineyard vine striped shirt, extra small, was Jennifer Dulos. Intissimi bra, DNA matched Jennifer Dulos. Clear poncho without hood and a clear poncho with hood, 4 zip ties, standard textile brand bath towel, all matched Jennifer. 2 plastic garbage bags taped together with black tape, matched Jennifer Dulos and Michelle Tricanis. 1 black plastic bag with black tape matched Jennifer. 4 pieces of black bag with duct tape had a right index fingerprint of Fotis Dulos. 1 torn plastic garbage bag tied in a knot on one side with red-brown stains and black tape attached to the inside of the bag was the right middle fingerprint of Fotis and the left middle fingerprint of Fotis. Swabbing of bag, interior of knot, Jennifer Dulos, blood-like stain on poncho, swabbing from trash bag, swabbing from tangle of black tape, blood-like stain from exterior of non-damaged plastic bag, swabbing of sticky side of duct tape located on interior bag, all matched Jennifer Dulos. Swabbing of bag opening and separate bag portion matched Jennifer, Fotis, and Michelle. Now, these were all found in these trash receptacles. Recovery of altered license plates. C4 surveillance also showed Fotis Dulos placing a large white-colored item into a storm drain at the intersection of Albany Avenue and Adams Street. Detectives and Metropolitan District Commission personnel responded to the intersection and assessed the drain. A large white-colored FedEx envelope was removed from the drain and secured by detectives. The envelope was found to contain 2 Connecticut passenger plates, which initially appeared to read 5T6WBU. Upon closer inspection, detectives discovered the plate had been altered using what appeared to be blue tape and clear adhesive. A collect NCIC check of the plate, as it appeared to read 5T6WBU, yielded no information. When detectives determined the actual plates were 516WDJ, a collect NCIC check of the actual alphanumeric listed the plate as canceled on a 2007 Chevrolet Suburban registered to Fotis Dulos. And I'm getting word there's a press conference going on. Let's see. What channel is that on, you guys? Can someone, I think someone sent me a link. Hold on one second. I did get a link. Hold on, we'll pull that up. Hopefully, maybe we can start it over or something. Let me share the screen with you guys. Sorry about that. I wasn't reading chat and I just kept on reading. So here, let's do this. That is not the right screen. Bear Here we go.
At New Floors with Empire Today's $99 sale. Buy one room, get carpet, hardwood, or laminate in all other rooms for only $99. That's New Floors for the whole house.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
This is breaking news from Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Breaking news in the case of a missing mom in Connecticut. Her estranged husband and his girlfriend have just been charged with her murder. Good afternoon to you. I'm Lauren Glassberg. David Navarro is off.
I'm Shirlene Allica. Police arrested Fotis Dulos a short time ago at his home in Farmington.
His estranged wife, Jennifer Dulos, was last seen in May, shortly after dropping her kids off at school. Eyewitness News reporter Marcus Solis is live in Bridgeport with the details. Marcus.
Lauren, Shirlene, 227 days, the amount of time between Jennifer Dulos' disappearance and an arrest on a murder charge in this case. Here at Troop G, Fotis Dulos en route. He is expected within the half hour where he will be processed by state police. Now, we can show you the activity a short time ago outside of his home in Farmington, Connecticut, about an hour away. State police converging there. Dulos, who had been out on bail, was taken into custody. His lawyer says he will be charged with the murder of his estranged wife, Jennifer Dulos. She disappeared May 24th, last seen dropping off her kids at school. Later, her car was found in a park in New Canaan where she had been renting a house. Fotis Dulos and his girlfriend, Michelle Troconis, were arrested within days, charged with tampering with evidence in the case. But up until now, there had not been a murder charge, a seemingly difficult case to build without the body of Jennifer Dulos, which has not been found. Now, police had only said in court papers that she was the victim of a serious assault. At this point, it is unclear what has changed in terms of evidence, but this morning, Dulos' lawyer spoke out about his client's arrest.
I haven't seen the warrant yet, but it's my understanding that Mr. Dulos was just arrested and charged with the crime of murder, as to his wife, Jennifer Dulos. It's my understanding that there will be arrests, that arrests are simultaneously taking place and that two other individuals are being arrested.
Those other individuals, Michelle Troconis and an attorney, Kent Mawhinney, who is charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Now, Dulos will be arraigned at some point in Bridgeport. We are expecting an update from state police at some point. This morning, the New Canaan Police Department sent out a one-word tweet. It read, "Justice."
Get New Floors with Empire Today's $99 sale. Buy one room, get carpet, hardwood.
Okay, that wasn't a press conference, but I'm going to continue reading actually the warrant because I think someone had said they didn't even give as much information than that's in the warrant. Crystal, go ahead and email me. J is justice@gmail.com about that hat. I can give you the information on that. Okay, let's go back to the arrest warrant. Okay. Okay, so we did the license plates, and now, how many pages is this thing? Holy shit. All right. I guess I'm going to be reading for a minute here. Okay. Arrest number 1 of Fotis Dulos and Michelle Troconis. Based on the above facts and circumstances, detectives sought an arrest warrant for Dulos and Troconis on charges stemming from the disposal of evidence in Jennifer's disappearance along Albany Avenue in Hartford. On 6/1/19, arrest warrants for Dulos and Troconis were authorized and executed, charging both individuals with tampering with or fabricating physical evidence and for hindering prosecution in the first degree. Initial interview with Michelle. As of the drafting of this affidavit, Dulos has provided absolutely no cooperation to law enforcement in their investigation into Jennifer's disappearance. Investigators have turned to Dulos' girlfriend, Michelle Troconis, for assistance. Starting on 5/24/19, NCPD personnel reached out several times to Troconis, leaving multiple phone messages for her to call back. She failed to respond to any of the messages. On 6/2/19, detectives conducted the first interview with Troconis at NCPD headquarters following her initial arrest on the above charges. Turkana's attorney, Andrew Bowman, was present in the room during all the questioning. During this initial interview, Turkana offered her first version of the events of the date of Jennifer's disappearance on Friday, 5/24/19, as well as the circumstances leading up to that day. Turkana's explanation of alibi scripts. Wow, this is going to be a lot. On 6/3/19, the day after Turkana's first interview, WDMCS crime van detectives were executing a search warrant for Jefferson Crossing when they located a set of handwritten notes. These documents came to be referred to by investigators as the alibi script. The 2-page document included 2 distinct handwriting styles, which were later confirmed by Turkana to be her own handwriting and that of Dulos. The alibi script was an outline of the activities of Turkana and Dulos for the dates 5/24/19 and 5/25/19, laid out in approximately hourly increments. Hold on one second. Sorry, guys. This is what I get for going live during the day. Things happen during the day. The original handwritten alibi script was recovered from a trash bin in the 4-group office, and photocopies were in a briefcase. The alibi script included a narrative which was nearly identical to the information provided by Turkana in her first interview, and it represented an account of 5/24/19 and 5/25/19, which Dulos and Turkana together had authored, in which narrative Turkana presented nearly verbatim at her first interview. In her second 2 interviews, Turkana's account of those dates diverged from the alibi script, particularly when confronted with evidence, much of which was unknown to investigators during the first interview. It is therefore important to describe the various sources of information developed thus far during this investigation. Interview 2, starting in her second interview, Turkana provided the following reasons for why she and Dulos had written out the alibi scripts. Turkana stated that on either Saturday or Sunday, 5/25 or 5/27, that doesn't make sense, 5/25 or 5/26, she was present for a phone conversation between Dulos and his family attorney, Jacob Pytranker, which we just learned Jacob Pytranker has been arrested, in which Pytranker instructed Dulos to write out a precise timeline of his actions on Wednesday, 5/22, the date of his last visitation with his children, which had occurred in part at Jennifer's home at 69 Wells Lane. Turkana reported the attorney had told Dulos to write down everything he had done during the visit to Jennifer's home. Pytranker specifically told Dulos to record whether or not he had entered Jennifer's home. Turkana remembered being surprised that Dulos had been to Jennifer's home that date, because Dulos had told her the visitation occurred at Grace Farms in New Canaan. Turkana continued. Fotis goes, "No, I did not go in the house." And Pytranker said, "Make sure. Where did you guys eat?" Dulos continued to say, "No, I didn't go inside the house. But yes, I hugged the kids. We played. I don't know if a hair went in." Following the call, Turkana confronted Dulos. "I'm like, Fotis, where were you on Wednesday? Because you told me you went to Grace Farms." Dulos admitted he had gone to Jennifer's house and added they had eaten outside. Turkana reported Dulos had told her, "Jacob was saying write down everything as you were by the time you spent in Jennifer's house. Where did you eat? Did you put any plates inside the house? Do you remember going to the bathroom?" Dulos repeated to Turkana that he had not entered Jennifer's home. Detectives pointed out that in recording their timelines, both she and Dulos had chosen to omit the trip to dump trash in Hartford, to which Turkana replied, "I know." When Turkana was told this looked bad, that she and Dulos had failed to record potentially incriminating information, Turkana replied, "Okay, I know." Turkana denied that Dulos had told her to leave certain items out of the script. She reported Dulos had told her to write out the highlights of her day's events. When asked if Dulos was dictating what story Turkana should tell the police, she responded, "Well, obviously, it was for me to say it, but he was trying to be more accurate, but with a lie. with a lie. That's what I'm saying. He was trying to fill things that I don't remember with things that it wasn't true. Sources of information. Trikana submitted to 2 subsequent voluntary interviews in the presence of her attorney in which she presented vastly different accounts of the events of 5/24/19. Additionally, the later seizure and search warrant execution on Dulos and Trikanis' cell phone provided another source of information. Detectives also secured various sources of residential and commercial surveillance footage. Therefore, these sources of information for Trikanis included Interview 1 on 6/2, Alibi Script 6/3, Interview 2, 6/6, Interview 3, 8/13, Trikanis cell phone data, Dulos cell phone data, and residential surveillance. Trikanis interview claims. In each of her interviews, Trikanis offers claims which conflicted her other interviews and even sometimes portions of that same interview. When confronted with conflicts in the information she was providing, whether they be inconsistencies or with other answers or contradictions to surveillance sources, Trikanis would only provide more truthful information, sometimes modifying or changing her answer in the middle of it. Dulos' whereabouts. During her 3 interviews, Trikanis provided a variety of explanations when asked if Dulos was at home at 4 Jefferson Crossing in Farmington when she awoke the morning of 5/24/19. Her statements included in Interview 1. On 5/24/19, both she and Dulos had woke up at their residence at 6:40 a.m. She told investigators that she and Dulos had showered and were intimate together before she made breakfast for her daughter and then drove her to school. Note, this is inconsistent with information in the forensic download of Dulos' cell phone, which indicated on 5/24 the alarm activated at 4:20 a.m. and was shut off at 4:21 a.m. When pressed on whether Dulos was home that morning, Trikanis admitted, so maybe he wasn't home the entire morning. But Trikanis continued to still provide Dulos with an alibi for that morning from 6:40 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. She reported last seeing Dulos that morning at 8:15 in the 4-group office with Mawhinney. Trikanis explained that she was out of the house from 9 to 11:30 a.m., which provides her with plausible deniability for that time period. When asked to clarify if Dulos was home on the morning of 5/24, Trikanis did not answer the question. Instead, she immediately began telling investigators what she had been doing by saying, all my morning he was in the house. I have texts. All my morning he was in the house. I have texts. Detectives continued to ask about Dulos' whereabouts, and Trikanis ultimately acknowledged, so maybe he wasn't home. From the very beginning of the second interview, Trikanis continued to lie about seeing Dulos on the morning of 5/24/19. So this is interview 2. Trikanis was asked if Dulos is at the home when she woke up at 6:40 a.m. Trikanis first reported he was there when we woke up. Where was I? He was there. Okay. And they said, okay. Trikanis proceeded to cover her face with her hands, wipe her eyes, and then tried to change the subject. Trikanis' attorney, Andrew Bowman, tried to clarify with Trikanis to see if she actually saw Dulos on the morning of 5/24/19. Trikanis hedged her answer, but stated she did not see Dulos on that day until between 1 and 2 p.m. Trikanis was asked if there was tension between Dulos and herself because of the divorce and the problems surrounding it. Her response was, we fight all the time. Detectives asked Trikanis if the turmoil might be a motivating factor to get rid of Jennifer. Trikanis reported that Dulos had expressed to her that he never thought Jennifer would do this to him and that he never saw this side of her. Trikanis also conveyed Dulos had told her, sometimes I hope she disappears. Interview number 3. Trikanis' statements include, investigators asked Trikanis if she is ready to admit that she was not 100% truthful with investigators during her first 2 interviews. Trikanis hesitated before answering yes. Investigators asked Trikanis if Dulos was home when she shut off her alarm on 5/24 at 6:40 a.m. Trikanis began shaking her head left to right as she responded no. Detectives confirmed he was not there. Trikanis answered no. Investigators asked Trikanis if she showered that morning with Dulos. Trikanis responded, no, I didn't. Trikanis ultimately admitted she had not seen Dulos in the bedroom, in the shower, or anywhere else in the house that morning until noontime when Dulos called her up for lunch. 4-group meeting and Dulos' cell phone. Trakanis told investigators in her first interview that there was a 4-group meeting on the morning of 5/24 in the office of area of 4 Jefferson Crossing, which was attended by Dulos and Kent Mawhinney. Trakanis' account was contradicted by her subsequent claims and by Mawhinney. Hang on, I got to take a drink. It's a lot of reading. Okay. During the initial interview, Trakanis' claims included Trakanis reported that Dulos was in the 4-group office section of the residence conducting a business meeting with attorney Kent Mawhinney the morning of 5/24/19 at approximately 8:15 a.m. She ultimately told 3 different versions of this meeting. Trakanis first said she saw Mawhinney and Dulos sitting at a table talking with one another. Later, Trakanis indicated she only heard Mawhinney and Dulos talking, but never saw the 2 of them together sitting at the table. And finally, Trakanis reported she only heard Mawhinney talking, but did not see or hear Dulos. Trakanis stated she greeted Mawhinney in the 4-group office that morning. In an interview, Mawhinney admitted to investigators he was in the 4-group office, but stated he never saw Trakanis. Interview 2, she asked if Mawhinney was in the 4-group office on the morning of 5/24, to which she began nodding her head and saying, yes, I did. Yes, that I did see. She stated Mawhinney had a meeting that morning with Dulos. She continued to maintain that Dulos was present in the office at approximately 8:20 or 8:30 a.m. Trakanis added that she had greeted Mawhinney by saying hi. When Trakanis was asked if she knew the whereabouts of Dulos' cell phone that morning, she replied that she thought Dulos had his cell phone. When asked if Dulos would normally carry his cell phone with him, Trakanis responded yes and no, but a lot yes. Trakanis answered that it would be unusual for Dulos to be without his phone, even for a few hours. Trakanis left open the possibility that Dulos had left his cell phone behind accidentally. But when questioned, Trakanis reported Dulos had not told her he forgot his cell phone on 5/24. During her 3rd interview, Trakanis provided the following information. I like Mawhinney. That's what I'm going to call him. So Trakanis told detectives that after returning from dropping off her daughter at school, she had gone into the 4-group office and seen Mawhinney at the far end of the glass table. Upon seeing Mawhinney, she said good morning to him, and he responded, hello, good morning. Trakanis then noticed that Dulos' cell phone was sitting on the table, and she found it unusual that the cell phone was there at a time when Dulos was not present, and his whereabouts were unknown to her. Under repeated questioning by detectives, Trakanis was unwilling to say that Dulos was not at the residence. She would only say that she did not see Dulos during the morning. Not in the bedroom, not in the kitchen, not in the 4-group office. I do not like green eggs and ham. That's what that reminded me of. Not in the bedroom, not in the kitchen, not in the 4-group office, and that she did not know his whereabouts during the entire morning. Having seen this phone on the desk, Trakanis reported that she assumed Dulos was at the residence. I thought he was there because Kent was there, but I didn't see him. Trakanis later added, back then, I always thought he was in the house, but thinking I never saw him. I never heard his voice. So obviously he wasn't, or probably he wasn't in the house. Incoming phone call from Andreas Tusiardis. Dulos' phone records. Okay, I'm going to shorten that by saying AT because I'm not saying that name. Dulos' phone records showed an incoming call to his cell phone on 5/24 at 8:24 a.m. This call was prearranged by Dulos the previous day with his friend Andrea AT, who lives in Greece. Interview 1. The incoming call from AT was not mentioned by Trakanis during the first interview. Interview 2. Trakanis did not discuss the call from Greece during this interview. She continued to claim no knowledge that Dulos did not have his cell phone that day. Interview 3. In this interview, Trakanis changed her entire story regarding the absence of Dulos' cell phone that day by acknowledging Dulos' cell phone was sitting in the 4-group office as she and Kent Mawhinney sat in the office, and that it received an incoming call on that date. The phone rang, and it was a call while it said Andreas, and Kent stood up. According to Trakanis, Mawhinney motioned for her to answer the cell phone. In answering a question from attorney Bowman, Trakanis responded, Mawhinney said, there's a phone ringing. Are you going to do something with the phone or the call? And I picked up the phone. Trakanis stated that she knew AT, a childhood friend of Dulos who lives in Greece, but that she was not sure if it was AT calling. Trakanis also indicated she heard static when she answered the cell phone and that it was difficult to hear. Trakanis reported that she heard the Greek word for hello And she responded, hola, the Spanish word for hello. Trocanis explained that the call was short and lasted only a few seconds before ending. Dulos' cell phone data shows a 17-second phone call. Trocanis stated, and I'm pretty sure it was Andreas's voice. Trocanis indicated there was no follow-up phone call and that soon after the call, she left the office, leaving Dulos' cell phone sitting on the table. Okay. 24. Trocanis' morning alibis. Trocanis provided herself with several methods for investigators to rule her out of her presence at the crime scene on the morning of 5/24. Sounds like this girl sealed his deal. Interview number 1. During her initial interview, Trocanis made the following claims. She left Jefferson Crossing on 5/24 at approximately 9:10 a.m. and dropped off an item to a friend, thereby providing herself with an in-person alibi before traveling north to the Simsbury Stop and Shop, where she took photographs of herself and a store robot, providing a secondary alibi. On her way home, Trocanis stopped by an additional address in West Simsbury, where she met with a different friend, providing a third alibi. When asked if Dulos was home on the morning of 5/24/19, Trocanis responded by telling detectives that her locations were substantiated by photographs and texts on her cell phone. She did not answer the actual question asked. Interview 2. Without prompting, Trocanis provided a description of the clothing she was wearing at the Simsbury Stop and Shop to help investigators identify her on store surveillance. Interview 3, detectives continued to question Trocanis about the alibi scripts, which Trocanis admitted having written with Dulos. Although she appeared to deflect more of the onus for writing the document onto Dulos, investigators pointed out that he wrote notes for Michelle, which were false. Trocanis grudgingly admitted that portions of the alibi scripts were factually inaccurate and that she had nonetheless provided these falsehoods to police as facts. Trocanis' lunch with Dulos on 5/24/19. Trocanis was inconsistent when questioned about Dulos' arrival home at Jefferson Crossing for their lunch together on 5/24. Interview 1, Trocanis reported returning to Jefferson Crossing at approximately noon. She said the Ford Raptor was not on the property because Kamini was driving it. Trocanis stated the Ford Group Chevrolet Suburban was there. Detectives asked Trocanis if anyone else was at the house at noon. She responded, I had lunch with Fotis, but later, not immediately. Detectives asked Trocanis to be clear if Fotis was home when Trocanis returned to the house as late as noon. Trocanis responded, he probably can be because he has the office on top. I mean, I didn't look for him. Trocanis reported a different time frame for the lunch she ate with Dulos on 5/24. Interview 1, Trocanis first reported 1 p.m. She then changed the time between 1 and 2. Interview 2, it was sometime prior to 1. Interview 3, it was between noon and 1:30. Alibi scripts between noon and 1. Surveillance shows the Toyota Tacoma pulling into 80 Mountain Spring Road at 12:25 p.m. During her second interview, Trocanis explained when Dulos returned home for lunch that day, he was wearing jeans and a light-colored shirt with short sleeves, similar to polo. Whereas during the third interview, Trocanis claimed Dulos was wearing a collared button-down shirt with the sleeves rolled up and he appeared normal. Interview 3, Trocanis admitted she could not account for Dulos' whereabouts on the morning of 5/24. When asked if she could confirm Dulos' whereabouts on the morning of 5/24, she acknowledged she could not. Trocanis claimed that she had not found it unusual for Dulos to have absolutely no contact with her during the entire morning of 5/24. She claimed on some days they speak 20 times, while on other days they had no contact at all. So it looks like her third interview, she came clean. She stopped all her stories. God. 80 Mountain Spring Road in Farmington. The property located at 80 Mountain Spring Road is a large isolated property owned by Ford Group, and it includes a massive 11,000 plus square foot mansion with 5 bedrooms, 5 full and 3 half baths, situated on a 5-acre lot. The location is a 5-minute to a little over 2-mile drive from Ford Jefferson Crossing. Throughout her 3 interviews, Trocanis provided vastly differing accounts, all of which conflicted with location data gleaned from Dulos' and Trocanis' cell phones. In interview number 1, She said that Dulos called her on her phone to tell her they both had to go over to 80 Mountain Spring Road to clean the house in preparation for a client meeting the next morning. She described it as common for them to use their cell phones to call one another. Troconis had to bring a vacuum, a Swiffer mop, paper towels, Clorox spray, and garbage bags. Troconis reported that she and Dulos drove the 2 miles to the 80 Mountain Spring Road in separate vehicles, sometime between 2:15 and 3. And surveillance from a residential house there shows Dulos driving his 2015 Chevy Suburban, followed by Troconis driving the 2014 Jeep Cherokee at 1:36 p.m. Soon after arriving, Troconis reported that she discovered the vacuum she had brought did not work. She explained how she returned to Jefferson Crossing to obtain a small broom. In order to clarify her story, detectives asked Troconis what she first saw when she drove into the driveway of 80 Mountain Spring Road. She reported seeing the Suburban already parked with Dulos standing inside the south garage bay. Troconis indicated at approximately 3 p.m. she returned to Jefferson Crossing. She explained the way the Jeep was parked. It was easier to drive the Suburban. Troconis reported she went back to 80 Mountain Spring Road between 3:40 and 4 p.m. When she arrived, she saw Dulos talking on his phone out in the area of the driveway where the cars are parked. Troconis began cleaning windows, but then gave up because she realized the house was too big. Interview 2. Troconis continued to claim that she did not know what Dulos was doing on the property. When Troconis was told that Dulos had killed his wife and involved her in the cleanup, she responded by saying, "That's like even worse. I hate him because of that." Affiant Kimball told Troconis, "He got you in trouble." Troconis replied, "But I was cleaning the house. I wasn't cleaning Jennifer." Interview 3. During the third interview, Troconis provided some entirely new information. During interviews 1 and 2, Troconis repeatedly told investigators she had been cleaning windows while at 80 Mountain Spring Road. During the third interview, Troconis began claiming she had been cleaning bathrooms. Troconis indicated that when Kamini arrived at 80 Mountain Spring Road at approximately 5 p.m., she and Dulos had been standing up against the Toyota Tacoma's passenger side. Fotis and I were against the car, the Tacoma. Fotis was like behind me, like physical contact. Kamini arrives. I think Kamini or Fotis says, "I didn't see anything," or "we weren't doing anything." I think something like a joke. When asked to explain her meaning, and Troconis answered, "Like, yeah, we were making," Troconis appeared to be saying that Kamini's arrival interrupted Dulos and Troconis from engaging in sex alongside the passenger side of the Toyota. Troconis told investigators that she was inside 80 Mountain Spring Road when Dulos came inside looking for paper towels because he had spilled something in the Toyota Tacoma. Supposedly, Dulos went outside to clean out spilled coffee, and then he returned to her and handed her the paper towel, which she threw in the garbage. She said that he spilled, I think it was coffee. When asked where Dulos had spilled the coffee, she said in one of the cars. That's what he told me. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but the paper towel was dirty. Troconis indicated the used paper towel had been brown in color. She also told investigators that the soiled paper towel did not smell like coffee. In all 3 interviews, Troconis described how she repeatedly drove back and forth between 80 Mountain Spring Road and the 4 Jefferson Crossing, using both the Jeep and the Suburban. The timing she provided is not corroborated by cellular data of Troconis and Dulos' cell phones. Dulos appeared to remain at 80 Mountain Spring Road from approximately 1:36 p.m. until 4:07 p.m., approximately 2.5 hours. My goodness. Okay. Albany Avenue, Hartford. Starting in her first interview, Troconis told investigators that between 6:30 and 7, Dulos had offered to go to a Starbucks located in West Hartford. Interview 1. Troconis explained that she and Dulos rode towards the Starbucks in the Raptor. Troconis reported she was on her phone and she was not aware of what was going on. Dulos drove past the Starbucks to what Troconis described as a creepy area, which was a crowded place with fire and police vehicles. He stopped and we stopped. He throws something in the back, a bag, or I don't know what. I wasn't really paying attention. She asked, "Why are we here?" Like it doesn't make sense. She went on to state, "We've thrown garbage bags and other opportunities, but I've never been in that area." Troconis described how Dulos threw at least one garbage bag into a dumpster. Detectives showed Troconis screenshots taken from the C4 surveillance footage showing the large black colored pickup and the male wearing the light colored shirt, dark pants, and ball cap. Troconis identified Dulos and the truck, the 2014 Raptor, registered to Ford Group. Troconis also confirmed she was the female passenger pictured leaning out of the passenger side door of the Ford Raptor. Detectives asked Troconis what was in the back of the Raptor. She said, "I don't know. I wasn't looking. I was on the phone. I was probably talking to P2, my friend P2." Interview 1, Troconis explained that following the Albany Avenue leg of their trip, she and Dulos went to Starbucks. Video footage from the Starbucks showed Dulos and Troconis entering the store on 5/24 and purchasing food and drink at approximately 7:59 p.m. The Albany Avenue trip was not discussed during the second interview. Interview 3. During her interview, Troconis began changing elements of her story. She changed her explanation of the items she was instructed by Dulos to bring to 80 Mountain Spring Road and of her activities at that location. Troconis listed the items she brought. "I brought a bucket, a sponge, garbage bags, disposable gloves." She described the bucket as white, the sponge as yellow and green, the garbage bags as black. Troconis also brought Windex, Clorox, bleach, a vacuum, broom, paper towels. Investigators asked Troconis what she was planning on cleaning. She responded, "The house, and I wasn't going to clean it all." All right, I need another drink. I need someone up here to help me read. All right. Interview 3. Troconis told investigators she arrived at 80 Mount Spring Road driving the Jeep Cherokee as Dulos drove the 2015 Suburban. When they arrived, the Toyota Tacoma was present. Troconis claimed to have no knowledge of why or how the Toyota came to be on the property. Troconis claimed she was inside the house cleaning bathrooms when she saw Dulos from the master bathroom window. She claims Dulos was setting up stakes to keep people from parking on the grass. At some point, Dulos went down into the basement after which she returned to 4 Jefferson Crossing for a broom. Investigators asked Troconis if there was anything going on at 80 Mount Spring Road, Farmington, that she doesn't want to be a part of. She said, "No, not that I know, not of my knowledge." In interview 3, she said she was inside the residence cleaning when Dulos came inside looking for paper towels, claiming he spilled something. Troconis explained that Dulos went out to clean, gave her the paper towel he had used, which she threw in the garbage. She explained that he claimed he was cleaning coffee. When detectives asked where Dulos had spilled the coffee, she said in one of the cars. "That's what he told me. I'm not sure if that's true, but the paper towel was dirty." When asked about the color of the soiled towel, she reported it as brown. Investigators told Troconis it was difficult to believe she didn't know what was going on. And Troconis responded by saying, "I didn't know what was going on, and up to now I didn't see anything." Investigators asked where Dulos was cleaning the coffee stains, and she said, "I believe in the Tacoma." Russell Speeder's car wash. Investigation determined on 5/29, Dulos and Troconis together shuttled Kamini's Toyota Tacoma to the Russell Speeder's car wash in order at 265 West Main in Avon, Connecticut, in order to have the vehicle thoroughly cleaned and detailed. Dulos paid $250 cash to have this done and did so without Kamini's knowledge or permission. Residential surveillance from Jefferson Crossing showed a black Chevy Yukon followed by a red Toyota pickup driving on Jefferson Crossing towards Ely Road at 8:56 a.m. During interview 3, Troconis indicated Dulos was driving the Tacoma. She was driving the Yukon as they drove to Russell Speeder's car wash in Avon. Russell Speeder's surveillance footage showed the Toyota entering the parking lot at 9:05 a.m. Dulos can be seen entering the lobby and speaking with a representative who records the following information on a detailed log sheet for the vehicle, which was Troconis' cell phone number, the vehicle Toyota Sienna, which was wrong. The time field is 8:44, and the detail field is marked full. The price field is marked $250. According to Troconis, Dulos got in the Chevrolet Yukon, and they traveled to the office of Andrew Bowman, who Troconis, Dulos got Andrew Bowman, who Troconis Dulos got into the Chevrolet Yukon, and the two traveled to the who currently represents Troconis, whatever. I'm losing my mind. At approximately 1:39, Troconis' phone records show an incoming call from 860-269-3136, which is listed as the phone number of Russell Speeder's Car Wash. At 2:28 p.m., Trakanis' phone records place her cell phone in the area of the People's United Bank at 310 West Main in Avon. At approximately 2:28, Russell Speeder's surveillance shows Dulos entering the lobby to pay for the detailing of the Toyota. Both Dulos and Trakanis were arrested on 9-4 and 9-5 respectively, largely based on their rules outlined above to tamper with or fabricate physical evidence. The Toyota Tacoma on 6-6, detective seized the Toyota at the residence of Kamini. During the search warrant execution, Kamini told detectives that the seats which were installed into the Toyota were different from the seats which had been in the truck on 524. Kamini signed a written consent to search for him, and he provided the seats to police voluntarily. Pursuant to a Joyce warrant, the seats were sent to DES PP Forensic Lab for testing. The results indicated that Jennifer Dulos' blood was found on the passenger seat of the vehicle. The bicycle. Kamini told investigators he was aware that Dulos owned an older model, black or brown bicycle, which he had brought with him when he moved to the United States. Dulos told Kamini the bike was made in France and was his childhood bicycle. Dulos asked Kamini to fix the bike during the fall of 2018 or the beginning of 2019. Kamini remembered the bicycle had been routinely stored on a hook in the garage at 4 Jefferson Crossing. During interview 3, Trakanis reported seeing such a bicycle at 80 Mountain Spring Road. When detectives showed Trakanis photographs of the interior of the 4 Jefferson Crossing garage taken on 6-3, she indicated Dulos' bicycle was missing from the photo. Trakanis pointed out an empty hook where the bike normally hanged. Evidence recovered from the Albany Avenue trash receptacle contained a logo consistent with a vintage Mercier brand bicycle. A French-made bicycle consistent with Kamini's description. Detectives located photographs taken in 2008 at the residence shared by Jennifer and Fotis, which showed a dark-colored vintage bicycle consistent with a Mercier bicycle. On the day Jennifer's disappearance, residential surveillance footage on Weed Street in New Canaan showed an individual dressed in a hooded sweatshirt and dark clothing riding a bicycle consistent with Dulos' bike towards Jennifer's residence. Surveillance timeline. That detectives conducted an extensive canvass for surveillance sources along various routes in the Farmington Avon area with the town of New Canaan and points in between. So they had the black Suburban, the Jeep Cherokee, the Ford F-150 Raptor, a red Toyota Tacoma. Surveillance video gleaned from the day prior, 5/23, and the date of the crime, 5/24, included the following. 4:51 p.m. Surveillance from a residence located just south of Jefferson Crossing on Ellie Road shows a vehicle consistent with the Ford Raptor traveling north. 4:54. They show the Toyota Tacoma traveling around Ellie Road, followed by the Ford Raptor. The footage shows these vehicles appearing to travel in tandem on Ellie Road towards from Jefferson Crossing towards 80 Mountain Spring Road. Surveillance capturing the driveway of Mountain Spring Road shows a Toyota and a Raptor coming in the direction of Ellie Road and pulling in. Surveillance shows a Ford Raptor leaving the driveway and turning onto Mountain Spring Road northbound to travel towards the Dulos residence. The Ellie Road surveillance source shows a Ford Raptor traveling northbound towards the Dulos residence. Data obtained via search warrant from the OnStar module of Dulos' 2014 Ford Raptor indicated the vehicle was located at 4 Jefferson Crossing when the gear shift was placed into drive at 5:10. Then 5:32 surveillance shows a Chevy Suburban with a 4-group place card on its front passenger door traveling south on Ellie Road, away from Jefferson Crossing towards Mountain Spring Road. And then we see the black Suburban coming from the direction of Ellie Road, pulling into the driveway of Mountain Spring Road at 5:35. 5:41 surveillance on Mountain Spring Road shows a black Chevrolet Suburban exiting the driveway of Mountain Spring Road. 5:35 a.m. on 5:24, a red Toyota truck drives off the property at Mountain Spring Road and turns onto Mountain Spring Road southbound. 6:36, a red Toyota consistent with Kamini's truck was found traveling southbound on the Merritt Parkway. 7:03, they saw the truck again in the New Canaan rest area at 7:03 a.m., 7:05. They show video from New Canaan school buses show an empty turnout at Lapham Road. 7:31, Weed Street, New Canaan. Video from a residential surveillance system showed a person riding a bicycle northwest direction along Weed Street. The cyclist was in dark clothing with the hood pulled down to hide their face. The bike was ridden, appeared to be a dark-colored touring bike with curled ram horn handlebars, common on vintage 10-speed bicycles. The bike had metallic reflective rims. Witness statements, including Kamini and the photo evidence, proved that Dulos owned that vintage bicycle. The location of the surveillance falls in line with a 20-minute bike route from Mawhinney Park section of Lapham Road, the location which the Toyota was staged, to 69 Wells Lane. The direction of the rider is towards Wells Lane, away from Mawhinney Park. Okay, so then we have another school bus traveling southbound on Lapham Road at 7:40 a.m., showing the same turnout occupied by a red Toyota truck consistent with Kamini's pickup. This turnoff is within approximately 100 feet of the turnoff that Jennifer's 2017 Chevy Suburban would later be found abandoned. The bed of the truck appeared empty. At 7:57 a.m., a school bus traveling northbound on Lapham Road showed the Toyota still parked in the same dirt turnout on Lapham Road. The victim arrives home. At 8:05 a.m., Jennifer's 2017 Chevrolet Suburban is shown on residential security camera driving eastbound along Wells Lane towards her residence after Jennifer dropped off her children at school. 8:05 a.m. to 10:25 a.m., murder and cleanup. At some point between Jennifer's arrival home and 10:25 a.m., the crimes occur in the garage and the residence. Dulos packages Jennifer using plastic zip ties and placing her inside her own 2017 Suburban. He cleans the garage using supplies he finds in the garage and paper towels from the kitchen. At 10:25, the suspect leaves the scene. He turns on Wells Lane in Jennifer's 2017 Suburban, traveling westbound away from 69 Wells Lane. Cellular data obtained from Jennifer's cell phone are consistent with the phone moving from Wells Lane to Lapham Road during this time frame. At 11:12 a.m., the Tacoma is shown traveling northbound on the Merritt Parkway, passing the New Canaan rest area at 11:12. An object is now visible in the rear bed of the truck, which appears to be the rim of a bicycle. 11:25, the Tacoma is seen northbound on Merritt, passing the rest area at 11:25. 11:40, it's seen on Route 8. 12 o'clock, it's on I-84. 12:22, it shows it pulling into 80 Mountain Spring Road. Surveillance shows a white Jeep at 1:36, followed by a black Suburban. According to Chronis, she was operating the Jeep and Dulos was driving the Chevy. 201, 80 Mountain Spring Road, Farmington. The residential surveillance shows the white Jeep pulling in. This follows a call from Dulos to Chronis at 1:53 p.m. At a time, his handset is in the area of 80 Mountain Spring Road. The footage is consistent with Chronis' arrival at 80 Mountain Spring Road after receiving the call from Dulos. 224, surveillance shows the Jeep pulling out of 80 Mountain Spring Road, and 355, surveillance shows the Jeep returning to 80 Mountain Spring Road. 403, residential surveillance shows the Chevy leaving the 80 Mountain Spring Road. 423, 20 minutes after Chronis drove away in the Chevy, residential surveillance shows the Suburban returning to 80 Mountain Spring Road. Both Chronis and Dulos' cell phones appear to remain at Jefferson Crossing. So they left their phones. 458, residential surveillance shows the Raptor being occupied by Kamini, arriving at 80 Mountain Spring Road. According to his statement, Kamini has already gone to Fort Jefferson, having arrived at 4:30. He found no one home at the residence, and he was unable to reach Dulos by phone. Kamini went into the kitchen expecting to find the key to his Tacoma where it is normally kept, but he was unable to find it. He then drove to Deer Cliff Road and then onto 80 Mountain Spring Road, where he encountered Dulos and Troconis in the driveway. 5:02, it shows the Raptor leaving the property as Kamini drives the truck to Jefferson Crossing. Within approximately 30 seconds, the Jeep is shown backing out and stopping on Mountain Spring Road just south of the driveway. The Suburban then pulls to the end of the driveway and sits for within possible earshot of the Jeep for 10 to 15 seconds for no apparent reason. No traffic passing before pulling out to travel north on Mountain Spring Road towards Jefferson Crossing. Troconis follows the Suburban when she's in the Jeep. By 14, it shows the Ford Raptor pulling into 80 Mountain Spring Road. This is Dulos driving the Raptor, and Kamini is the passenger. Kamini tries to pick up his Tacoma. According to Kamini's statement, when he arrived back at his truck, he noticed the key, which had been seen in the passenger's door lock, had been removed. The absence of the only key to the vehicle prevented Kamini from driving his vehicle. Dulos offered to let Kamini take the Ford Raptor for the weekend, but Kamini said he wanted to transport his dirt bike from Dulos' residence to his own house in Simsbury, and Kamini wanted to use the Toyota to accomplish this. 5:16, Dulos' cell phone data shows a call to Troconis telling her to return with the keys. 5:24, residential surveillance shows the Suburban entering the driveway as Troconis brings the keys back to Kamini. Residential surveillance shows the black Chevy Suburban leaving 80 Mountain Spring Road. The red Toyota Tacoma, driven by Kamini, pulls onto Mountain Spring Road northbound seconds later. God, this is confusing. 5:28, residential surveillance shows the Raptor pulling out onto Mountain Spring Road northbound as Dulos leaves. Kent Mawhinney. Kent is a close friend of Dulos and a practicing attorney who lives in South Windsor. His practice is in Bloomfield, Connecticut. Mawhinney's name appeared on the alibi scripts written by Dulos and Troconis. He was also identified by Troconis. Mawhinney was interviewed on 6/9 and then again on 6/25 to obtain his personal knowledge of the events which transpired at the Ford Group. His statements include, he stated that Michelle for the first time within the last 30 days of this meeting. He met Michelle for the first time within the last 30 days of this meeting. Mawhinney was aware that Fotis had been dating Michelle prior to meeting her. Mawhinney stated there was no scheduled meeting with Dulos on the 5/24 and acknowledged he did not see him that morning. In his second interview, he changed his account of 5/24 to reflect there was a prearranged meeting with Dulos that morning. Mawhinney continued to maintain he did not see Dulos. Mawhinney indicated he arrived at the Fort Jefferson Crossing at 7:40, where he remained for 40 to 50 minutes before leaving. He says he did not remember if he had contact with Dulos on 5/23. His phone records showed an outgoing call. Dulos' phone records showed an outgoing call to Mawhinney on 5/23. Mawhinney denied any phone contact with Dulos on 5/24. However, the phone records documented an outgoing call to Mawhinney on 5/24 at 7:47 p.m. During his second interview, he reported he had received a concussion resulting from a fall down a set of stairs on 5/25, the day after Jennifer's disappearance. He reported he had to replace his cell phone after the fall damaged the phone's screen. Mawhinney reported he had no memory of seeing Dulos or Troconis on 5/24. He also reported he could not remember any incoming call on 5/24 at 8:26 a.m. When pressed if he answered any calls that day, he said, "Why would I direct someone to answer my phone?" Detectives had to explain to Mawhinney that he was not answering the question being asked several times. In her third interview, Troconis did assert that Mawhinney had directed her to answer an incoming call. In his first interview, Mawhinney denied having any contact whatsoever with Dulos on 5/24. In his second interview, he stated, "I don't remember having contact with him. If there's a phone call, I guess I did, but I don't remember having contact with Fotis." Mawhinney was asked if he would know why Dulos would have contacted him while dumping evidence into trash bins. Mawhinney reiterated he did not remember any kind of contact with Dulos and did not know why Fotis would call him while he was disposing of evidence. Kamini, at the time of Jennifer's disappearance, he was the project manager with Ford Group. He routinely drove the Toyota Tacoma, and it was registered to his wife, Barbara. She had her own vehicle but did not drive the truck. So Kamini would regularly leave the Toyota parked at Fort Jefferson Crossing during the week, and Dulos would provide him with a Ford Group vehicle to drive, usually the Ford Raptor or the Jeep Cherokee. Kamini would leave the sole vehicle key at Dulos' residence. Kamini provided multiple voluntary interviews with investigators. The third 8-hour interview took place on 7/12 at the Troop G barracks, during which he was accompanied by defense attorney Lindy Urso. Following the first interview, with the permission of attorney Urso, he provided information on several subsequent occasions. So some of the conversations include the following. He explained that Dulos, He explained that Dulos told him he would get in trouble if he talked to police because Kamini only had a green card. Kamini routinely drives a 4-group vehicle during the week. He would leave it at the residence at 4 Jefferson Crossing. On 5/17 or 5/20, Dulos asked Kamini if he would move Kamini's truck to 80 Mountain Spring Road because the truck was making oil. 5/23, Dulos told Kamini to forego stopping at the 4-group office on the morning because Dulos was having a meeting with a divorce lawyer. He told Kamini to drive straight to New Canaan on 5/24. Kamini stated he routinely does not stop at the office unless he needs to pick up something. On the morning of 5/24, Kamini was driving the Ford Raptor, and the OnStar module download showed the vehicle being shifted into drive at 7:55 a.m. Kamini's and Dulos' cellular records show a text conversation between the men, which occurred on 5/24 at 2:13 p.m., in which Dulos asked Kamini when he was returning to the office. And Kamini said 4:30 p.m. Kamini reported when he arrived at the office, no one was there. That was when he searched for the key to his Toyota but couldn't find it. He then drove to 585 Deer Cliff Road to retrieve a board he uses as a ramp for his dirt bike. He then went back to 80 Mountain Spring Road to see if Dulos was there. He saw both Dulos and Trakanis in the driveway. He said they both looked surprised to see him. He asked what they were doing, and he reported they were cleaning. Dulos reported Trakanis was cleaning windows while he was cleaning up some stuff inside. Kamini reported that Dulos and Trakanis were not holding any cleaning products, and there were no products near the vehicles. A short time later, all three left the property, each driving a separate vehicle. Hold on. I need to see how much of this is left because I'm about to die over here. Oh, God. I can't read all this. I'm losing my voice. I think we're going to have to do like part 2 or something because I can't do all this. Let's see here. On Sunday, Dulos spoke with Kamini and told him Jennifer was missing. He went on to ask when he'd be returning to work, as the next day was Memorial Day. He said he'd be back on Tuesday. When Kamini arrived at work on Tuesday, he walked into Dulos' kitchen and handed him the key to the Toyota. He asked where he was working on Friday, and Kamini found a strange question to ask because he knew where Kamini was. He was working at 61 Sturbridge Hill Road, as Dulos had told him to do. Dulos asked Kamini told Kamini that police seized his phone and asked to see Kamini's phone because he wanted to check if Kamini had called him during the early portion of Friday. He looked through the phone. Dulos asked how he had gotten back to the 4-group office on Friday. Kamini reviewed that Friday afternoon. He mentioned the aspect of how Dulos had called Trakanis to return the key to 80 Mountain Spring Road. He told Kamini there was no reason to bring Michelle into this and to leave that part out. Kamini took that to mean Dulos was telling him not to tell police about Trakanis having possession of the Toyota key. Yeah, does someone want to join me and read? One of my moderators? Anybody available? Because I can't keep reading this. There is a lot of evidence, dude. Like, this is insane. Beth Wade says, catch your breath. I could just give you a summary. You're right. Let me just skim through because a lot of it's repetitive. Okay. So basically, I mean, what it looks like they're doing is they're comparing cell phone locations to where these people say they were, I mean, that's the gist of it. I don't think we need to go through every single line. Here's an important part, though. So when Kamini noticed his Toyota was not at the house and he asked Dulos where the truck was, Dulos told him he was coming back from a car wash. When he arrived back at the car with at the Jefferson Crossing with the car, Dulos began telling Kamini he should replace the seats or sell the entire truck. Dulos offered to sell Kamini the 4-group Jeep, but Kamini declined. So Kamini got into his truck and realized the vehicle had not just been washed, but had been detailed as well. At some point during that week, Dulos called Kamini to tell him that the media was outside his house. He told him to come get the Toyota and park it inside the garage or take it home. He also said he should go to a junkyard and find replacement seats for the Toyota and pay cash for them. He said he would reimburse him. So on 5/31, Dulos was like, did you find the seats? Kamini went to the junkyard. He spent 2 hours looking, and Dulos was basically, you've got to get that done. Like, he was firm that it needed to be replaced. Let's see. So yeah, they're just proving that the seats were replaced. Okay, so then Kamini voluntarily provided his cell phone, and they got his web history from the earliest date of 8/28/17 until 5/27/19. Searched items and a call log. Okay, that Lauren Almeida. Okay, we're moving on to Lauren Almeida, the longtime child care employee hired by Jennifer. In May of 2013, she was the nanny for the 5 kids. So she showed up to work at their home on Wells Lane on May 21st. On May 22nd, she stacked the children's equipment on shelves in the garage on the 21st. On the 22nd, she was preparing for a supervised visit, with Dulos and the kids. 30 minutes prior to his arrival, Jennifer ran down the stairs saying that Dulos had already arrived, so he got there early. He claimed he was confused about the time of the visit, despite the routine time of 4:30 to 7:30. He was also aware he was not to enter the property prior to the arrival of Dennis Puebla, the third-party observer or Puebla's designee. The plan for the 22nd visitation was for Dulos to take the children to Grace Farms in New Canaan for a picnic. He suddenly realized that Grace Farms closed at 6 that day and gained Jennifer's permission to return to 69 Wells Lane to picnic with the children outside. So Puebla would be there monitoring Dulos while they ate outside. Jennifer and Miss Almeida took steps to ensure Dulos did not enter the residence, as Jennifer was strictly opposed to Dulos ever entering the home. They placed the food out on the rear patio table and locked the rear mudroom door to prevent Dulos from entering the kitchen. On 5/23, Jennifer discussed the possibility of Miss Almeida staying overnight at 69 Wells Lane, as Jennifer had an early doctor appointment the next morning. Jennifer said she'd stay in New Canaan, bring the children to school, then leave for the appointment. On 5/24, Miss Almeida arrived at 69 Wells Lane at 11:30 a.m. She opened the center bay garage and via the keypad and noticed the Range Rover was still in the garage while the Suburban was gone. She noticed inside that Jennifer's purse was on the floor in the doorway, and there was an unopened granola bar and a mug of tea on the kitchen counter. As she washed Jennifer's mug, Mrs. Almeida noticed the paper towel roll near the sink needed replacement. She went to the pantry for a new roll and found only 2 fresh rolls were left. Miss Almeida found this incredibly strange because the night before she had placed a brand new pack of 12 rolls in the pantry. I sat there and wondered what happened that they used 10 rolls of paper towels. Wow. So she picked up the kids at 12:43 and sent a text to Jennifer, which was unanswered. She noticed as her and the kids were leaving the home, the rear mudroom door was unlocked, and this was routinely locked unless the children were playing in the backyard. So she locked the door, and she sent another text to Jennifer at 1:10 that she would be arriving in New York City with the kids at 2:30. Not answered. Upon arrival at Jennifer's mother's, Gloria Farber's house, she sent another text to Jennifer. No response. A 4:00 call to Jennifer went straight to voicemail. Miss Almeida wrote, "Immediately my stomach sank and I had a feeling that something was wrong. In the almost 7 years that I've worked for Jennifer, I never ever had a hard time reaching her and never had an issue with her phone being off. After discovering Jennifer never showed for the children's orthodontist appointment at 4:40, her reaction was, my first thoughts was that Fotis did something. After pondering other scenarios, Miss Almeida arrived back at the feeling that something has happened and Fotis was most likely involved." At this point, Miss Almeida contacted Jennifer's mom, checked with close friends and relatives, and none had heard from her. So after returning to Jennifer's mother's apartment, Miss Almeida and Jennifer's close friend Laurel Watts contacted the New Canaan police to report Jennifer is missing. They said that a mother of 5 was missing and that she was going through a divorce and with a man that has threatened her in the past and owns a gun. After confirming, they spoke with Dulos and they said, wait, hold on. After confirming with NCPD, they spoke with Dulos and it was all right to accept his incoming calls. So Miss Almeida called Dulos at 8:41 p.m. Miss Almeida explained, Fotis never asked me how Jennifer was doing the day previously. He never asked how Jennifer was doing the day previously or when I last heard from her or showed any concern about the fact that Jennifer was missing. He did ask how the kids were doing and asked if I had the kids at Gloria's apartment. On 5:25, Dulos' first text to Almeida arrived at 5:39 a.m. Good morning, Lauren. Any news? She replied there was no news. Throughout the day, Dulos called Miss Almeida and texted her asking about the children, asking if there was any news in attempts to verify Miss Almeida was bringing the children for visitation. On 5:26, he continued to text the nanny about the status of the children and if they were all together in New York. At noon, Dulos showed up unannounced at Jennifer's mother's apartment and demanded entry. The doorman had already been instructed to prevent Dulos from entering the building due to ongoing family court issues and the fact that Dulos was unwelcome at her house. New York City police responded to the scene and were told by Dulos that his children had been abducted and that he was demanding to see them. NYPD officers spoke with New Canaan police and confirmed Dulos was prohibited by court order from visiting with his children unsupervised. Dulos was told to leave the property and ultimately complied. Jennifer's friend, Carrie Luft, filed a domestic violence report regarding the incident with NYPD. On 5:27, Dulos texted the nanny again to check on the children. Following her reply that the children were fine, he said, thanks for your response. Please send me updates every 3 hours. I do not want to feel like I am pestering you, but please understand that I am the father and I am extremely concerned with the situation. He did not ask anything about Jennifer, and she did not respond. So then they showed her pictures, and she identified that the camping pillows were missing. Let's see. Sydney Streeter. Sydney Streeter was a third-party observer who works with Dennis Puebla to monitor Dulos during his supervised visits. She was present there when they ate outside, and she said that Dulos never entered Jennifer's house. His financials, he's involved in an ongoing civil suit by Jennifer's mother for $2.5 million. The suit was started in 2018, and Dulos was aware of the potential financial exposure at the time of Jennifer's disappearance. His portfolio consists of several loan accounts, multiple lines of credit, have a current balance due of $531.19 of approximately $4,499,847.85. There are also numerous mortgages held against his construction properties. This is insane. They have a savings bank they have a line of credit opened by Dulos in the name of his company in March of 2018. The line of credit has a maximum draw of approximately $2.7 million, which was extended as of May 19 with a balance due of $2.6 million. It appears between 4/1/18 and 5/31/19, he began funding the four-group business checking account held at People's United with advances from DSB line of credit totaling $1.6 million. Also during this time period, the four-group account was funded by an additional line of credit advances to include People's United bank loan, totaling approximately $530,000. There's lots of financials. Holy crap. All right. We're getting close to the end, though. I got to take a breather. Yeah, I do have dry mouth. No, it is hard to follow because of all the vehicles and like they're coming and going and they're at this house and then they're at this house and they're in this, he's on a bike, then he's in a truck, then he's in it's like, it's confusing and it's a lot of information, But I guess they felt like the discrepancies really needed to be placed in here in order for this arrest affidavit. You know, they wanted to put those details of all the conflicting stories. So then he got a cash advance for $149,500. He got insurance checks. I mean, this goes on and on with his with his financials. People's United Bank. Here's his bank account graph. This is shows all of his money. Indications that Jennifer Dulos is not alive. The following indications have been determined that Jennifer Dulos is no longer alive. Finances. Jennifer's mother has been power of attorney for her daughter's finances since 6/19/19. Her last known financial activity was a check written on 5/23. The last known activity on Jennifer Dulos' checking account was 5/23/19, and there has been no further activity. Office of the Medical Examiner. The medical examiner was presented with a summary of facts, including the forensic lab results. He stated that the items of evidence recovered were forensically linked back to Jennifer. He was also provided photographs of the crime scene, and his name is Dr. Gill, and he said based upon the facts, the degree of blood loss, as well as other factors, he was prepared to state that Jennifer Dulos had sustained an injury or multiple injuries, which he would consider non-survivable without medical intervention. Dr. Gill categorized the event as a homicide of violence, likely to include some combination of traumatic blunt force injuries such as bludgeoning or beating, or sharp force injuries such as stabbing or slashing. The use of zip ties, there were 4 recovered, and they had blood on them. That was Jennifer Dulos. And they stated that it was reasonable that Jennifer Dulos was alive at the time the zip ties were attached to restrain her movements to prevent her escape. So they just outlined now the crime of felony murder, the kidnapping in the first degree, and then it states what they want to charge him with. And the judge signed it, and I'm done. So there we have it. They have a lot. They have a lot. So Fotis Dulos is going down. But listen, y'all, I got to get off here because I got stuff I was supposed to do, and I got to go. So thank you for being here. I will post this. I'll post the link to this in the, I would assume, yes, money. Yeah, money. He was in debt up to his freaking eyeballs. I'll post the link in the group on Facebook, J is for Justice podcast group, and it will be there. You can read it at your leisure. But I don't think I want to talk for the rest of the night. So hopefully nothing major happens, and I don't have to go live because I'm talked out. But you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you to all the new members. I don't know what went on while I was reading, but thank you so much. We'll keep updating on this. So have a great rest of your day, guys.